Linda Gross helps coaches move beyond income blocks and break through to consistent revenue. Her specialty is revamping customer payment plans to get paid on day one rather than 6 months. Let's find out what makes Linda so buzzworthy. Linda, thanks for coming to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. It must be really hot right now in Los Angeles.
It is. It's pretty sticky.
I'm in Virginia, and we're just getting over the hot spell. So apparently we have about a 6-week time frame here in Eastern Virginia where it gets really humid, but it doesn't get much over 90 degrees at the height of the day, but the humidity is ridiculous. So anyway,
Yeah.
So are you from LA or
I am actually.
Oh, wow.
I'm from Hollywood, which is about 20 minutes from where I'm living currently.
Nice. I grew up in Northern California, so I was always a NorCal kid. So
okay.
So tell us a little bit about your business. First, what's the name of your business? Who do you serve, and how do you serve them?
Linda Gross Coaching. So I am a mentor and business coach. I primarily deal with experienced coaches. I do have a program for newbies. My colleague kind of takes over on somebody that still hasn't perhaps quit their job and is looking to be an entrepreneur for the first time. So I'm going to catch you at the next level of that. So you've been in business for about a year or two. You know how to do lead gen. Money is coming in, so you're no longer worried about that. But you just want to scale to the next level. People call me the money finder. So what I do is I lift the hood and I look at 8 different areas of your business and see if we can find you more areas that we can maximize on. And then also, I think a lot of my customers, they're really good at whatever product or service that they're pitching, but they're not good at business. So like nobody ever taught them the behind the scenes look of how a business operates. And that's why, unfortunately, most businesses fail within 2 years. Even my MBA students say, oh my goodness, Linda, I've learned so much from you. Even the MBA program doesn't look at these areas. Well, because it's a big secret. They don't want you to know how everything works. And I have about 15 years in the financial community. So I have eyes on a lot of different things that really can help you scale your business. And conversely, a lot of people are losing money that they don't even know about. So I plug up those holes, and that in turn will bring you more revenue as well.
So let's dive down to like some of the common places where businesses, especially in those first few years when you don't know what you don't know, where is like the most common place people should be looking for to see where they're bleeding money and technically bleeding profits?
Yes, exactly. I would say probably one of the number one areas is, the customer doesn't have, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 laying in the cash drawer, right? So, you're being Mr. Nice Guy as the coach. You want to extend a payment plan to them because you want them as a customer. And that's what most coaches do. They don't know that there are other options to that. Well, the problem with that is, let's say you have a 3-month program, but you extended a 6 months payment plan. Guess what happens in month 4? They've gotten everything from you that they came for, but in month 4, they feel like, okay, I'm not paying the bill. So they quit paying you. So now what do? They're going to ghost you. They're going to give you a million excuses. I mean, and then especially in this climate, the person may not be in your backyard or your state. They may be across the country, or heck, through the advent of Zoom, they may be across the world. How are you going to get that rest of that money back? So let's say you have a $6,000 program. They paid you for 3. you've now just threw the other $3,000 out the window.
Oh, wow.
So I have a system in place where we take all of the risk away from you, 100% of the risk away from you. We get you paid on day one. We offload the balance to a third-party creditor. And then if they want to stop paying in month 4, it's between them and the creditor, not you.
I love it. I love that. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, even with, it hasn't, I've been in business for 19 years now, and I can still count on one hand how many times we've had chargebacks from credit cards. There's not a guarantee. And the credit card companies are not on your side, even though you're the one paying the fees. For some reason, those pesky folks who want to get out of their wiggle out of their bills for whatever reason, we finally won one of those. It is not easy to win those arguments, even when they don't have anything except for, I just don't want to pay it. They're like, well, they weren't satisfied. So, and if you're a service provider, that's all they need most times. This latest one, we had somebody who tried to get all of their money back after breaking their contract. So it was really a bad situation for us. It's not somebody we weren't trying to keep around, but so we let them go when they asked to go, because we're like, yeah, this is not a good fit for either of us. So let's go part ways. But then they came back to get their money back through their credit cards. But luckily for us, we had all of our agreements in order. We had all of our notes and on emails and stuff like that. And so we took the little bit of time to get back, and we won all 3 because they put it on 3 different credit cards, and we won all 3 of the disputes, which was amazing. We thought for sure, and they take your money while you're in when you're in that space of like whether or not you're going to get, they take it right back away from you. So for the 2 months it takes, you're without that cash. So when you're talking about being able to take payments through a third party lender, that then if they don't pay the bill, it's their problem and not your problem. You completely remove that risk. For somebody who is a solopreneur, that's huge. Because I remember when I first started, man, you know how much time I spent tracking money down. And even now, I mean, I have an administrator who still has to call people and make payment plans and those types. And every once in a while, they ghost you and it's gone, and they're gone. People, they make promises. Even if you have agreements in place, they make promises. Where's another place besides non-pays do you think are very common for those the first few years in business where we're bleeding money?
Yeah, just to quickly touch on that last one, I would say, there are so many coaches that don't have a contract. I would say start there. I mean, hire a business lawyer for 20 minutes, 30 minutes to review everything and button up those holes too. So, in fact, I even have some coaches say there are no refunds in the contract, which I don't think is a valid legal excuse, but it's kind of like going to the parking lot and the big sign says we're not liable if something happens. Of course they're liable, but it's kind of a disclaimer to dissuade you from doing anything further. Anyway, so I would say make sure your contracts are.
Yes. And on that point, for us, I mean, we've got agreements that have been in, iterations for 2 decades now, and they can start very simple. You do not have to spend thousands of dollars on just getting a legal advisor for a few $100s versus getting and have them, go grab a template out there, make it your own, make it conversational, and have an advisor say, hey, this is what I'm trying to I'm not trying to button this tight. I just want to have something that if for some reason you are taking cash, you're taking credit cards, somebody dives out, you can at least give it to a collection agency, because a collection agency needs to see an agreement. It doesn't have to be an ironclad contract like you were talking about with all the legalese in there. But if you have a lawyer draft that's going to be upwards of $10,000 for an agreement, because they don't use templates for whatever reason. But if you have a legal advisor say, hey, can you look at this and just tell me where my risks are? And once you get it to a point where you're like, okay, my risks are something that I can handle, at that time, use it for a while until somebody breaks it in a way you're like, I don't like that. Then go back to the drawing board, because simple is better, right? Because if you just have a 1-page hey, this is just our agreement here, right? That way, if we ever have to go back to anything, we just go back to hear what we agreed to, and usually if you do that, just that is better than nothing. Like you were saying, like you can put the no refunds in it, whether you can impose that or not. It depends on your
Right.
state. And there's some states it's like, yeah, hey, listen, I'm an advisor. Once I say a word, the whole value is on the table. And there's other states that say,
Right.
no, it's up to the consumer to decide whether you're worth the value, and they can ask for their money back. So anyway, back to the
Yeah.
next big leak.
Yeah.
What's the next big leak we should be looking for as brand new entrepreneurs?
The no-show rate
Ooh.
is huge in our business. So,
Mm.
I mean, it's great that you had your calendar all booked up, but let's say you, the provider, are opening up your calendar and they're not the right fit. They're not in the right business. They're not your potential customer in any way, shape, or form. And then above and beyond that, half of them don't show because, hey, you just said, here's my Calendly link. You just deal with it. You, the customer, go deal with it.
Mm.
So they're not invested. It's like, take some of that concierge service back or have your VA do it and have that personal care. Like, let me book the appointment for you. And, do you like Tuesday or Thursday? Which one is better for you? Do you like AM or PM? And getting that interaction with the customer. And it takes less than 45 seconds, right? Now they're invested to show up. And if they're really not a good candidate, you can have pre-screening questions for your VA. And you're not going to be booked up with opening up your calendar and they just want a meet and greet, or they just want to know who you're voting for, or like whatever other topic that is not relevant to the call. So yeah, there's a lot of time wasting going on with regard to just giving them the Calendly link and walking away and hoping that all is good.
Yes. I know some folks who will actually bill for that time. And so it might be an introductory meeting. So it's like, hey, listen, instead of a complimentary meeting, because if they're not going to pay you, say, $50, they're not going to pay you $5,000, right? And if you have some value that you're bringing to the table there, if they're going to pay for it up front, right, for the time, for the introductory time, and you have a promise behind it, and you can even have a money back guarantee. Hey, if you don't feel like this was worth your time and the $50, I'll give you your money back. No questions asked.
Yeah.
No skin off your back. You were going to do it for free anyway, right? But what it does is it takes all the tire kickers out of the way. So that's something to think about.
Yes.
Is another way. So do you? What's your suggestions on like the follow-ups? Because Calendly is a very popular scheduler out there. How many times should people be thinking about reminding people? Because sometimes people just don't remember, right? And so,
good question.
Yeah, what are your suggestions there?
Yeah. Well, one mistake that I see coaches do is they book the appointment way too far in advance. And even though the customer might have had good intentions, if you book it 2 weeks in advance, both you and the customer, it's like you don't have that sharpness, you don't have that relevancy. So I like to suggest not more than 48 hours, unless there's some extenuating circumstance that, there's a vacation there or surgery or something that's happening. But try to get under the 48-hour mark. So that's point number one. With regard to the follow-up, you can actually pre-program it in Calendly. The minute they give you their email address, it shoots out a confirmation link, like here's the link, here's the date and time. And, if you have any problem, or if I got it wrong, or my VA got it wrong, that's the point to say, oh no, I said Thursday, not Tuesday at 2:00 or whatever. Beyond that, I would say 1 day in advance, and then 2 hours in advance, 1 hour in advance, and then maybe like 5 minutes in advance.
Wow.
So for all of those markers, you can just program that into Calendly or whatever your platform is that you're using for the calendar scheduling.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it's for me, I mean, shoot, for me as somebody who's got a sizable business, getting in my calendar 48 hours in advance is a you have to move Earth to do that a lot of
Uh,
times, right? I might be able to squeeze people in 15 minutes here and there, just because my week gets filled up the week before. So, what do you suggest for people who are both doing the sale? Like, so the solopreneurs we're talking about here, they're doing the sales and they're doing the consulting. So they're getting booked up that 48 hours pretty quickly. So is there another way of maybe holding onto those people? And it's where and maybe it's the 30 the 4 days out or the 5 days out. Is there techniques to keeping them warm if you can't get to them in 2 days?
so what I would recommend is to schedule dead time in your schedule, in the entrepreneur's schedule.
Mhm.
So let's say your appointment times are, Tuesday and Thursday from, 10 to 11, and maybe another slot, 4 to 5,
Mhm.
let's say, in the afternoon for people that like afternoons. That would be one avenue. The other avenue is if you have a VA, let's say you're all booked up for like the next 10
Mhm.
days, have her get involved in that transaction. So at the 48-hour mark, have one-on-one communication with the customer. So now you're following my under 48-hour rule
Mm,
of being in contact.
I love it.
That'll strengthen that call a lot. It'll lower that no-show
Gotcha.
rate.
That makes sense. Yes, definitely having those. Another thing you can do if you're getting more advanced is do email drip campaigns for those that are out more than a week, is what I usually suggest as well. And so that's where you're just adding value out there. So it's going to be your evergreen content of things that you tell everybody when you're out and about and not charging for. So it's all that free content that you're putting out on social media and all that stuff, but it's all pertinent to most of the people you're talking to. And so it could be a case study. It's like, I'm really excited about talking to you, and then on the whatever date that is, dot dot dot. Hopefully I can help you like I helped this other person, and you're giving a short case study, dot dot dot. If you have any questions between now and then, feel free to dot dot dot, boom boom boom. And now they feel like they got some value, and it's not even a week. They're not even going to talk to you for another week. But you do that a couple times over that
Yeah,
week. Now they're like, they feel like they already know you because they've heard from you a few times, and it's all automated, so it's not taking out your things. So when should
yeah.
somebody be thinking about getting a coach? A coach getting I mean, coaches are usually pretty good about being open to coaching, but I don't think that they always can recognize it when they should need a coach like you. A business, kind of a business coach is what I'm feeling that I'm getting from you here. So what are the symptoms
Correct.
they should be have an eye out for? It's going, oh, maybe I should call Linda.
Well, the human condition, you got to kind of look at that. We're either motivated by love, which would be, passion, or you have some sort of driving force that makes you do what you want to do, or we're motivated by pain.